Hey everybody, and welcome back to Gay 2K. I'm Sarah.
Hey, and I'm Alex. Watching myself live on TikTok and for our recording.
All right, and today we're going to be talking about the what is it, 2006 film D.E.B.S. When did D.E.B.S come out? You got to tell me a little bit more about it.
Feel so less prepared now.
And everybody coming in on TikTok, if you guys could like the screen, say hi. We are just going to be talking about the movie D.E.B.S. If you've seen it, hang around, let me know what you think. And if you haven't, just have fun hanging out, listen to us talk about D.E.B.S.
So Debs came out in 2004. It was written and edited and directed by Angela Robinson. It's a full-length adaptation of a short film she made by the same name. And it's about a spy in training named Amy Bradshaw and a supervillain named Lucy Diamond.
And the short was the same plot, like just basically shorter. Okay. That kind
It
of
follows a relationship. I think the Deb's the movie. I haven't watched it, but Deb's the movie is like meet cute, obsession, the full rom-com arc.
hmm. So, do you remember the first time you watched Debs?
Uh, I know that we picked it up at Blockbuster, and it wasn't my first pick because it was, very lady oriented, but in a very specific sort of way. Um,
I mean, the cover is ridiculous, right? I
yeah.
mean, it's all four of the Debs who aren't even really main characters, but they're in the like schoolgirl-esque college uniform.
The tattoo had already happened. Britney Spears was like
hmm.
so boring. Like, just kind of like, wow.
Yeah, you're right. The schoolgirl look was central to this aesthetic that was happening. Um, Very interesting, the legacy of that. I will say, rewatching it, it's not as like male gaze, hypersexual visually as I like remember it in my brain,
Yeah.
probably just because the cover is what it is. So I automatically associate it with that like kind of sleazy action film. But there's like one scene that's kind of like that super like slow motion bullets flying sexy action film, and the rest of it is not.
When you think of campy lesbian romances, I respect, but I'm a cheerleader. Do you ever really think about Debs though as being one of those?
No, I regularly try to forget about Debs. I don't know why. Because rewatching it, it wasn't nearly as bad as I originally remembered it to be. It's not on my radar, which is weird because it's directed and written by a lesbian and, not any less, inherently gay than But I'm a Cheerleader in that regard. I think, well, But I'm a Cheerleader is older for one. So, in terms of like groundbreaking movies that really like had something to say. Yes, there's a lot of camp and there's a lot of romance, but I'm a Cheerleader still takes place in a conversion therapy. So there's still some type of bigger picture message to that. And I cannot, if there is one to Debs, other than love can fix people, I
Debs is more surreal. Conversion therapy is a real thing. And but I'm a cheerleader. They do a campier, wide, like bright, silly version of that. And in Debs, they're talking about the the subtext of the SATs and who you're going to be for the rest of your life. But it takes a back
Mhm.
story, like the that context is in the back seat with all the getting it right with the right person.
um,
Um, yeah, so it takes a back seat and it's more of a subtext than it is a and then it turns out to be the actual solution of the movie. Debs is just
hmm.
written differently.
Yeah, okay. So, well, yeah, we'll just go over the plot kind of quickly. You kind of already actually said everything anybody needs to
Yeah,
know
that's all
about
that
the
we need to
plot.
say.
There is girls in a boarding school that's for spies, and the entrance exam is a secret test in the SAT, And there is a supervillain who is a lesbian named Lucy Diamond. Well, it turns out that the main character, Amy Bradshaw, who is the superest of the super spies, top of her class, perfect score on this secret test that is within the SATs. Uh, that's my biggest problem with the movie. What in the SATs are you testing for? That
can I say?
yes, yes.
They're testing to see how good of a liar you are, like how good you
Yeah, but
are.
okay. But how are you measuring that within? I've taken the SATs. How are you measuring that within the SATs?
It's supposed to be huger and smarter than all of us. Like it's supposed to be, it is the national test. It is a national test. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so covert that no one notices. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good at lying to yourself. It
Mm-hmm.
is not science. It is that is like the fantasy part of the fantasy element.
Yes, for sure. I will give you that. That is part of
Imagine
the
school children
fantasy.
being sent to like what, a 2 year change high school for this pre
Thank you for
FBI
the gummy
Academy
bears.
camp for ninjas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's there's a lot of weird things in this fantasy, and it's okay. It's
Um, Speaking of like weird fantasy elements, that I think a lot of the times the movie like full on goofs on some of that stuff and plays with it, like the holoc, like Holland Taylor is in this movie, but she is never physically in any of the scenes because she is a hologram in every scene that she's in. And that is the funniest shit in the world to me. Like literally, she just poofs, like they don't establish that she's a hologram until she poofs out. Like,
they're constantly excited. She's here. Miss Petrie's here. She's here. It's awesome.
mm-hmm.
It's a lot of good hype, but it's a good running bit throughout the film, like because it happens like 4 or 5 times,
Yeah.
and it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
And that was just fun to just play with special effects, and that was what Spy Kids and all those spy movies were really about. Is like, look at these silly effects. Look how comical the situation
I
is.
never thought of it until you just said it as a Spy Kids contemporary, but it is. It is a genre bending spy movie. And that's what Spy Kids was as well. And they're around the same era. That's so funny. Thank you for that. Um,
So that's the vibe, that's the aesthetic, and that's the general story. Um,
yeah.
we had a fun conversation of like just trying to get you to talk about Debs because it is like something that we both actively tried to repress. I ended up coming back to it just loving it because it's silly. And it's just something to talk about. But
Mm-hmm.
to make an improvement on it, 'cause I think some stories are worth rebooting, and we're in a reboot era. Who
Yeah,
would,
yeah. I don't know when the reboot era is ending. I think it's just a lifestyle now. I don't think we can call it an era
it's a
after
lifestyle?
it's a lifestyle. We are permanently in a reboot.
Reboot.
Um,
Rebooting right now. Um,
um,
who would
yeah.
play her? And I thought your first answer was hilarious. It got me really fired up.
No, I rewatched the movie and I was like, this is Renee Rapp. Like, there's no way that Lucy Diamond, who is played by Jordana Brewster in the film, would be played by anyone other than Renee Rapp in a
It'd be,
remake.
it'd be
Like,
such a different film. It would be
no, it
elevated.
wouldn't. It would be maybe slightly more sexually charged at times, but Renee Rapp has all of those. She has swagger and a power and an assertiveness that makes girls like, you know, yes, that can turn girls bashful. She does it in Mean Girls, and she is not even gay one in Mean Girls. She's not even gay one. She's not even a gay one in Mean Girls. And she still has the girls flustered. So
I love that. I think that she would argue to have a musical or a dance number. I think that was what would make it different.
oh. Well, you know, there is the montage, and I love this. The Jordana Brewster, Lucy Diamond montage where she's trying to win Amy's heart
Yeah.
and show her that she can be a good girl, and she's returning all these things that she's stolen, and they're singing a song. Um, I don't know the name of the song. I feel like we should know it, but I don't know it. And I think that could easily be Yeah, that could be a different song. That could
Uh,
be a new song. That's where that could come in. So
an original
yes.
song. Yeah.
Yes.
But thinking of Mean Girls, there's other characters in the cast that play these tropes. And that reminded me of Vantika Van Den Apu. I'm not great at pronouncing names, and I should have listened to it before I came to the pod. But I think she'd be really cool as Dominique, the distant cool girl, and she has like a different sexuality. I know that she could repeat the character from the original movie, but I think it'd be fun to see her do her own take on
Yeah.
this. I'm French and I'm constantly smoking cigarettes and whatever.
I
I
feel
don't.
like there's some reference there to some French spy in some movie that is over my head in depths because I
Mm,
don't watch enough spy movies, right? That whole thing that
that's the
yes.
thing. It's
Mhm.
too.
Also, she couldn't smoke if the movie was going to be PG-13. She couldn't smoke in the movie, which I think destroys the character. Like it doesn't have the same. There's something
There's
missing if that
there
character
is
is
something
also not
missing
a
there.
chain smoker.
I
One
think
of
she lights a cigarette, but I don't know if she smokes. I remember her smoking. Is that
she
just a
she
thing that's in
holds
my
a
head?
cigarette. She holds a cigarette in at least two scenes. I don't know if she ever actually drags from it, but
Yeah.
but they did. Then they reference her smoking multiple times. So I don't know.
The good girl tells her that she can't smoke here or something like that at one point. The
Mhm.
do hard Max, who's like that. I think we've all had those friends in grade school who's like, I'm gonna tell your secret. She's like the original conflict.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can't. I gotta step away.
I
Um.
did want Rachel Sennell has played lesbian characters, and I wanted her to come
Mhm.
back as the Russian prostitute. It's not a very big
Right.
part,
Well, yeah,
but
and that makes sense because she's closer to Renee's age than closer
yeah.
to. I mean, they're probably both Renee and the girl are probably both around the age of the actresses in the original film, but we would probably want to be looking at slightly younger.
Like a baby, or someone with a baby face.
Just
So
put,
Jenna Ortega has a baby face. She could
yeah,
be Amy Bradshaw.
put
Who am I?
Kieran Skipna and everything, right?
Kieran Shipka?
Shipka, yeah,
Shipka. Yeah.
Shipka, Shipna, whatever.
Yeah, she's got a very baby
She's been
face.
everywhere. She can do it.
She
Or
can do that.
McKenna
And doing it.
Grace, right? That's another. Am I making up names? McKenna Grace is another young.
Yes, either of
One
them.
of
Yeah.
them can be one of them can be one, and one of them can be the other. Done.
Well, look at chemistry with Renee Rapp. Yeah.
I see. Yeah, Jenna Ortega should be. I think Jenna Ortega works as. Who was I thinking though? I was thinking.
There's Janet.
No.
Am I getting Max? No, I'm getting Max and Janet backwards. Max is the do hard, and she's like she's already the team leader. And then when Amy Bradshaw has been canoodling with Lucy Diamond,
Oh
she
right.
gets the lead, and so there's like that super tension there.
Oh
And
yeah, Max
Janet
is
is the
played by
bad.
Megan Good. See, we have to. I have
That's
to
it.
connect the names to the actresses that originally played it for me to
Yes.
remember who they were. I think Amanda Seinler would be great for Lucy, not Lucy, Amy. Um, but
I'm
she is significantly closer to Renee Rapp's age than the characters would allow. Not that she can't play younger; they would be fine. And who says that Lucy Diamond is any older than 22? We don't
I
know.
remember and I picked out Lyric Ross. She was in Ironheart. She played the AI best friend.
Ooh.
She's 22. I don't think she has a very baby face, but she has like a lead attitude. Uh and
No,
like
I loved, yeah,
and
the
really
Natalie, right? And
yeah.
mm-hmm.
Um she just had really distant and like fun, warm characterization for that other role. I would like that. I think that would be instead of having the tension of like I'm always serious. I wonder what Lyric Ross could do with that. But yeah, those are both
I
good people.
mean, I'm not trying to hate on the movie, but the casting, and I mean, it happens when, I mean, we're obviously thinking of a much bigger. budget recast here. We're not looking at, you know, what Angela Robinson was working with in
Yeah.
2006 because that was very small budget. So I mean, we can dream big because in our
Yeah.
minds we have whatever budget we want. So yeah, Jacob Elordi as the douchebag boyfriend. Can't get away from him. I recast him as every sort of douchebag or douchebag adjacent male role ever now.
That'll make his money.
Yeah.
Um, so Miss Petrie and Mr. Phillips. Mr. Phillips, but who would you cast for Miss Petrie for Holland Taylor's role?
Oh, you know my answer. I would love to see Sarah Paulson just step into that role. I think it would be funny. I think it would be inside joke for everybody that loves them. I think she'd be. I just want to see her like being frazzled and mad at everybody because I think she could just be so disappointed in these young spies.
The funny little I'm a hologram. She would handle that in a very unique way that it's very Sarah
Mm-hmm.
Paulson, and I think that that'd be a lovely addition. That'd be so good.
For sure.
I
Oh
remember
man.
I had said Elliot Page would be amazing as a Mr. Petrie,
Mm-hmm.
um, because I just I want to see more trans men in movies and in openly trans roles. I think it'd be funny to see um, a millennia icon who played young, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a little girl, but also like who were also
Mm-hmm.
superheroes or badasses like Hard Candy, and did that like I'm a tough person role, and
Mm-hmm.
just have that arc in there. So maybe he'd be a really good Mr. Phipp.
Yeah.
Mr.
If
Phipps is
we,
always
yeah, I mean,
down.
if we want to go millennial icons, I mean, we could just put Usher Raymond as Mr. Phipp, just hanging in the corner, like, and even like reduce his speaking lines further, so it's just like this extreme cameo where he's just like he's Usher Raymond in every scene, but they just keep calling him Mr. Phipp. I think that could be funny, personally.
Your big lesbian crush. We'll just have him there not talking in a suit.
Oh yes, always. Back to my origins of confusion about masculinity. Um, yes, Usher Raymond looks good in a suit. Have him.
He
He's
looks good in a
pretty.
suit.
He's
It
so
would be a
pretty.
really good, that would be amazing. I wonder if he'd do that for us.
um,
I
Another
love
thing, when we talk about this movie, Holland Taylor was like a lesbian icon in this era without even trying to be, or maybe she was trying to be. It's hard to know because I don't, unfortunately have personal access to Holland Taylor, so I can ask her. But the connection is Angela Robinson. Like she was Helena Peabody in The L Word, who was another like powerful in charge HBIC mommy.
it.
And so then she's this character, and then I was like, oh well, like I connected the connection is Angela Robinson. So I don't know if like Angela Robinson knew something about Holland Taylor and what their relationship was, but she definitely um, had some fun making this role happen. Um, so I'm glad that Holland Taylor was to somebody she was an open secret in the in the mid 2000s, and to every I don't know every, but to me she was like an icon and definitely just like this my first real example of like women being consistently hot their whole life. And Holland continues to be that person. Like, how Holland? I mean, good for you.
I think it was interesting in like she was the first. I remember us talking about her showing up in the L Word and talking
Mm-hmm.
about how dynamically different she was than everyone else. Because she wasn't a catty middle-aged
Oh,
girl. She was an
she
adult. She was, go ahead.
She's so powerful. She is the only character in that show that diminishes Bet Porter, who is like the alpha of the show, right? To this itty bitty little person. Like that doesn't happen anywhere else. And so I'm so yeah, it's such a good character, and I'm so glad that they have that. And she's living, the dream. She found the love of her life, and perhaps there is another thing I want to talk about related to this movie is just age gap relationships, because I think it's implied that there's some type of age gap between Lucy and Amy.
Yeah.
And with Holland Taylor just being there, you can't help but, think about her lover.
Sarah
Wife. They're
Paulson.
married. They're
They're
married.
married.
Sarah, her lover, Sarah Paulson.
Who we would
Um,
also cast in this movie.
who I would also like to see in this movie. Um, yeah, I don't even, you had facts. I don't have facts on my head about how
Yeah,
they met or when they became public about their relationship.
uh, in New York Times, March of 2016, there was an interview where she just talked about what that relationship is like, what it's like to be with someone who's older. She specifically said that there's a greater appreciation of time, that there's like a sharp light mixed with a sort of diffused light on something, helping value the present. That's not like a, she's talking
That's
about how
so
someone else's
artsy.
perspective in her artsy Sarah Paulson way, how that perspective is helpful in just calming down and handling herself and becoming the best person that she can be. She's talking about mommy. Um, yeah, and I think she does it in a very sweet and like clear way. And I don't know, it's just a powerful piece that only Sarah Paulson could read in my
Yeah.
head.
It's interesting though because Sarah Paulson has always dated. I mean, all of the public relationships I know about that Sarah Paulson has had have been like older people, and that's just where she's comfortable. So she connects with older people, and um, I joked with Alex like once you reach a certain point in your Sarah Paulson, do you like, I mean, because it is a fact that Holland is older, right? So when that relationship comes to an end, I'm not wishing anybody ill will, but I'm just
Wishing
stating
immortality, if
some
anything.
facts.
Yeah.
When that happens for Sarah Paulson, does she then become the December? And that's just a joke in the May December relationship. Does she go from being the younger one to the older one? Do we see her like connect with somebody who, then she is doing that, guiding for that connection that's deep and nurturing, but also very intimate.
The
And
lesbian movies we need. And I think we do have movies about this topic. About, ooh, they're not coming to the top of my head, but I'm gonna write a note to do a deep dive.
there are gay male movies, a lot about age gaps. And it's always it's not somebody who's like Sarah Paulson was in her mid 30s, you know, marrying somebody who's like an adult. It's like an 18 or 19-year-old boy dating a 40-year-old. Like that's a very common trope in um, gay cinema, right? Like, I mean, Call Me by Your Name has that. Goes back to Queer as Folk, right? Wasn't Brian almost
Yeah.
40?
And the distance relationship isn't so much what I'm interested in. It's Sarah Paulson's life after Holland passes away. Does she become a December? Does she choose love? Or does she choose to honor the love
Ooh,
that she's had and then have satisfaction in life where she's at? I mean, these are films. Love stories tend to end after we meet someone at
right. There's a
20
happy
something.
ending, and the ending isn't an ending, it's a beginning. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So, as movies change, as films change, as stories adapt to meet what we
I,
need, I think that just
yeah,
putting it out
I
there to
don't
people.
know off the tip of my head, and we don't have somebody fact checking us, but there was a French film about an older lesbian couple, um, and one of them had died. But I feel like That might have been almost more about, the trauma that is, um, not having necessarily the same rights to your partner's stuff. So,
Yeah, I
um,
know there's stories about that.
mhm.
Because I have seen some. Just I'm
Either
thinking
way, I
of
think you're right. It's something that could be explored more, and it could
yeah.
be a fun story to watch for sure.
I think the HBO or was it HBO? If These Walls Could Talk, I think there's the first one has a lesbian couple, but again, that's a vignette.
You know what? I don't even remember. I know I've seen it. I don't remember what any of those stories are about, and there's nowhere to find it because I've looked. I've definitely looked. Um,
So
if these walls
libraries,
could talk, two is the one that had the queer stories. If these walls could talk, one was just about women's stories, which is also important. Women
yeah,
aging is important, but if these
it
walls
was the
could talk,
second
two
one.
was all queer stories.
Yeah, it was the second one. Yeah.
And all I remember is Chloe Sevigny riding a motorcycle with slick back hair.
Oh, she was
And
into
like
that.
Ellen was there, Sharon Stone was there. Like some of the couplings, I'm like, you're just putting two famous people together.
Yeah. Mhm.
Um, but back to D.E.B.S. I think what I didn't realize about D.E.B.S, or what I continue to forget about D.E.B.S, is how self-aware it is. It understands that it's a stupid movie, and I don't know if I feel like I got that at some point in time when watching it the first few times, but I definitely understood that more. Like, it does not try to pretend that the stuff that it's doing looks realistic. It does not try to pretend that anybody that's watching the film is fooled into believing these events are actually happening and there are actual people hanging from swings
Yeah.
in the ceilings of, seriously, that shot where they
So
pan
messed
out
up.
and they're on swings and then next to them is the FBI and like the CIA is over there in the corner and there's like other people in the other corner, like that,
In a restaurant.
in a restaurant. That's not
In a
like,
private
yeah,
restaurant. They're in the rafters, 40 feet above them. Yeah.
yeah, those are some big ceilings in that place for
And no one
sure.
looks up in that
No one
romantic
ever
setting.
looks up. No one ever looks up. It's like that. Yeah, it's Don't Look Up. It's that
And you're
movie with
right.
him.
The spoof films were pretty big around that time. We were
Mm-hmm.
probably already tired of them by Austin Powers, the third one. So like I can see us not I personally didn't take it that seriously as a lesbian film or as a queer film. I thought it was I didn't even know that the writer and director was a woman.
Yeah.
So
And if you're
like
looking at the cover, you would have no idea.
yeah. Yeah. Acting changes could change how Debs treats a story about identity and being true to yourself.
I think we get to decide that. Like, are we doing like a gritty, dark reboot
Oh, that's weird. Renee Graff could do it.
where they're like, actually, because this is another thing too. Like, 2000s was the era where we were still kind of post 9/11 and we didn't want actual villains. We didn't want
Yeah,
people that were doing bad things. We don't get that until like kind of late in that decade where we get Breaking Bad, right?
yeah,
Where people are doing bad things. And we're like, we still kind of root for this person because ultimately it's discovered, like Lucy Diamond is like, yeah, I've done these bad things, but I never meant to hurt anybody and I never killed anybody. They all froze to death. Like, like those kinds of
yeah.
things where like now it would be like, yeah, I've killed people. You still want me, don't you? Like,
Yeah, we wouldn't be so worried about it.
yeah,
I mean, maybe we would if we want to do like a post this administration type of movie.
you're right. Maybe it comes back full circle
Full
where
circle
we're
to
like,
rebuild what's been cracked.
yes.
These lesbians aren't dangerous. They're just doing their best in an almost
Mm-hmm.
Handmaid's Tale world. Because they are very young women,
Mm-hmm.
a very vulnerable population. I think, yeah, I guess it just depends on what time or era we set it. And with
Yes.
the breakdown of the FBI and CIA, it could be funny. All this budget on
It's like a
on housewives.
glorification of spies. Like we're like trying to rebuild up the trust. That's what it would be. It's a propaganda movie for intelligence agencies. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
So like they
Maybe.
don't even come off as that stupid. They just wind up like having like a change of heart at the end, where they
Yeah.
decide that she's reformed enough and let her go. That would be the difference instead of sneaking off. Speaking of a change of heart or like a change in shift in mentality, the whole idea that you're a better liar because you're queer and in the closet is a narrative that has changed and kind of evolved and not necessarily something that we like automatically are like, oh yeah, being in the
Hmm.
closet makes this person a good liar. Like I think it went from like you're a good liar to you're a good survivor. You're surviving. And I think I don't know when exactly that narrative started to shift, but I definitely think that that's the current negative. The current narrative is that it is not seen as a negative to have to be in the closet and to survive. And I think there was a time where it's like, oh, you're in the closet, you're such a good liar. I think that was such
Yeah.
a common.
It'd be very interesting. I think I'd like to hear that as part of the story too, about it being survival. And I think there'd be really, I think there's comedic ways to talk about that are lighthearted, but also
Mm-hmm.
natural
Yeah,
in
and
a
all
lot
of
of
those
ways.
instincts still make you a good spy because you know when to lie, but it's not because you're a good liar. It's because you know how to survive, right? So
Right.
I think, yes, I would retcon that about deaths.
Um, I think we're starting to touch on like why we would need a story like this that talks about unconventional love stories and brings up modern issues that are like, present. God, does it add anything? I don't know. What do you say?
I don't know. I I mean, the thing about like the way that queer stories are going right now is that like I mean nothing is very lighthearted. Sometimes things are a little lighthearted. I take all of that back. Have you seen the Amazon Prime detective drama that's a spoof called Deadlock? Have you
I
seen
haven't.
Deadlock? It is a lesbian led detective drama that's kind of like a spoof on like Broadchurch and those like small town drama
Okay,
situations. And it's more spoofy than even this is spoofy, if we're being honest. Like it
that's cool.
is ridiculous and over the top. And to make it even more ridiculous, because we're Americans, that's set in New Zealand and the accents are wild, and the things that they say with the accent make it hilarious, especially one of the characters. So yeah, that's my recommendation. Go watch Deadlock. um,
Deadlock. I will look it up.
it
Yeah,
has all of these, yeah, and it also has some very sincere moments. Like they do it very well. So no, we don't need Debs because stories continue to evolve, and
yeah.
the difference is that I think Debs is targeted at teens, which is funny. like,
And very 2000s. Or
mm-hmm,
yeah, they were not more playing children, but I think that's something else that's different about queer stories is that people come out so much younger, and the emphasis is not about lying, like you said, it's about
mm-hmm,
being open and honest. Because the modern story is about youths coming out a little bit earlier, like freshman year of high
mm-hmm.
school or whatever the advent change of a term is for them. The I don't know if it would read as well unless it's about keeping the closeted girl in the closet a little bit longer, which I don't know. I think if Mr. Phipps is Elliot Page, that could be an interesting dynamic.
um so one thing about I mean, you're right that like these stories hit. I'm like, it's so funny. Like we like circle back on like this does not need to be said, or like what about this story needs to be said. And now I'm like, but we do need this thing. There aren't a whole lot of because there are so many people coming out younger, and we came out younger, and we came out 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Um, but there are so many people that are coming out later in life. So I do
Yeah,
think there is a space for narratives coming out about people coming out later in life, and especially later in adolescence. Like
yeah,
what we just talked about on another episode, Lindsay Lohan, right? And that's a great example of you don't always have yourself figured out, especially at 25. Like,
mm. Celebrity couples or pairings, unconventional celebrity couples or pairings. I don't know. Put it down as unconventional.
oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, right? Because the age gap couple is unconventional in a sense, I think. Yes,
Yeah.
it's unconventional. I mean, and they're very unconventional. They don't even live in the same house, which I think
Oh
that's a funny
yeah.
way of saying that. They
We got
they
money.
spend their time together in one house and then they spend their time together in another house, and sometimes they don't. And that's
Sometimes they
when
don't spend
you
time together.
when you have money to have two houses, why the hell not, yo? Like that sounds like a recipe for success for me.
And security.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what America decides about
Mm-hmm.
whatever, because we individually have our own properties.
Yes. Yes. A very mature take on
Very wealthy
everything.
take.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Two
The
things could be
survival.
true, right? Like there's Harrison Ford and Callista Flockhart who have been together since she was in her 30s.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Um, and at first that was weird to me, but I mean, I don't know. He's a charming guy, and she always seemed like an intelligent person. So I didn't think it was like creepy because she was very much already an adult and established in her own career before they started dating.
Yes.
So it wasn't like I was like, oh no, Harrison Ford is taking advantage of Callista Flockhart. It was oh, okay. I mean, the narrative is like, oh, well, couldn't she find somebody that's hotter that's her own age? Like,
Oh God. Fuck. Pardon my language. That's awful.
yeah,
That's an
but
awful
that was
thing.
a narrative,
Yeah.
right? Like, why
People
can't
say that,
she?
yeah.
And they
I
say that
looked
it's
up.
always about that ownership is always on the woman, which we don't get with Holland and Sarah, obviously. But it's always like, why can't the woman find somebody her own age? Not why can't the man be finding an appropriate aged partner or a partner that's aged closer to their age. It's always
I think when
why.
it's gay males, they're at least half of the listeners are doing that. Are talking about, well, the age is inappropriate or yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we just as men we have that interiority where we want it to be acceptable for ourselves if we run into that situation.
Mm-hmm.
And for others, most of us understand, at least in my demographic, we know that a lot of it is about money. I don't know if I've ever dated a person who hasn't dated an older man for money or for something
For
else.
security. Let's call
For
it
some amount of security.
security. You're not
Yeah.
getting when you say for money, it sounds like you're getting a paycheck. We're not talking about. I mean, it's fine if we're talking about that, but
I do know people who haven't done it specifically for money. You're right.
I think there's yeah. I mean, I think
I am generalizing money.
financial security is a thing. I think when you
Yeah.
say doing it for money, it implies that like you're specifically getting.
Yes.
In my mind, it implies that you're specifically doing it to use their money or to get paid, and that's a different
Yeah, it's different.
topic.
And also that just represents like a narrow-minded space where my relationships occurred back then. I
And
understand like it takes maturity to share. It takes like it's just different. And it's
I
different for
mean,
everybody when you're in the
no,
situation.
I mean, and to be
Okay.
honest, if I found myself single, I would be looking for somebody older for that security in myself because I don't want to. First of all, I don't even know if in this weird world where I get
Yeah.
divorced, I don't even know. I wouldn't want to be married to anyone else. And granted, I'm saying that as somebody who is happily married right now, but it's like weird
Yeah.
in my mind to like think about wanting to even go through those steps. And like I have kids, and some of my kids are already adults, and so in a lot of ways, like that lines up more with somebody that's older than me than it does. Certainly not anybody younger than me. Like that's weird to me. I wouldn't want to date anybody my kid's age because I have old kids. So
Yeah. Yeah, younger than me would be difficult, but
I
also
mean,
like
you had a pretty, not like a super wide. You had a very wide age. You were dating babies when you were single last. No, you weren't. But you know, like you were dating people who were 10 years younger to feel it out, and I think that's okay.
that
I
was
think
not
that
dating.
okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, last time
Definitely.
you were on dating,
Yes.
when you were
When I
on
was
dating
having hookups, when
apps,
I was on dating apps. Yeah, absolutely. That was as far as I could stretch it though. Like the mode. Then that's just me. Everybody's different. I don't represent every dude.
well, and it's hard for
Um,
you too because you were living in a college town, which makes age,
just very different.
yeah,
Yeah, and not pleasant to go younger.
yeah.
Okay, so Stephen Fry and Elliot Spencer have a 30-year difference. Stephen Fry is like an older
Stephen
British actor.
Fry and Elliot Spencer. Both of those names sound kind of familiar, but
RuPaul and George LeBar are 12 years apart. They
mhm.
met shortly after LeBar's 21st birthday.
Mm.
Matt Bomer and Simon Halls is 14 years apart. They have three children together. Tom Ford and Richard Buckley are 14 years apart. It lasted until Buckley passed away in 2021. Rachel Maddow and Susan Mikula are 15 years apart. And Martina Navratilova and Jemi Lemigrova are 16 years apart. They married in 2014.
Wow.
They are a pretty couple, I say.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Did you see Netflix's? No, because you don't have Netflix. Netflix has this really cheesy dating competition show called Age of Attraction. So you've seen a little bit about that? Yes. Um, they put all of these people together, and you were allowed to ask anybody about themselves, but you couldn't ask them their age. And then they just kind of let people couple up however they wanted to couple up. Um, and so there were a couple couples that like when they went to go reveal their age, like the production like showed them revealing and they like cut them from the show because it was like, oh, well, they're only 2 years apart. Like this isn't what this is about. So they like quick cut like a couple reveals that were like, oh, you're 36, I'm 38. They're like, no, get out of here. But they like still showed us that those people, you know, found each other and connected. But some of the couples, and both ways, there were older men and older women that found, you know, significant age gaps. One lady was 54, yeah, double the dude's age. So he was 27, she was 54, and she had a son that was 29, and I think that is
woo,
wild. They're not together now, but you know, you
that's
want to
tough.
root for love.
That's right.
And I think you and I have talked about this. Like, I think it would be a little bit, because all of that is a little bit different for queer couples for the same reason that you mentioned. Like, yeah, like there is a pressure about dating younger people, but a lot of the societal stigma on two gay men dating or two women dating. I mean, first of all, there's stigma period already, right?
Yeah.
So part of it we're like already over it by like what people on the outside think about us because we're over it because they're going to be thinking shit
Yeah.
regardless. So what does it matter if they're thinking shit about our age gap, right? Um,
Yeah.
so I think that's why it wouldn't matter as much. But there's a lot of stuff that was very weird. Like I mean, like kids, like every single woman at some point in time, the families met, and every single one of the younger men's mothers was like, well, what about children? What about grandchildren? And like,
Look. Look, mom.
yeah,
You know what about children?
yeah, yeah. So I think there are a lot of barriers of new relationships that gay people experience differently than straight couples, whether that be an age gap relationship or not, you know?
hmm
Back on the spy thing though. James Bond. Have you seen any James Bond movies?
I'm I did go through a James Bond resurgence. Just, I mean, basically HBO had a bunch of them, and I watched a few of the old ones, and it was really about technology, and I can understand why the new films are about aging and being aged out of the process because so many of these circumstances in the first films could only happen because satellites weren't a big deal yet. Because
Yes.
drones were fantasy.
Hmm.
Um,
I always preferred the Mission Impossible franchise,
yeah.
um, just because it's more action oriented. And I really like that Tom Cruise literally lets himself get hit in the face by obstacles. I mean, they're like foam obstacles, but like I think it. I say whatever we want about Tom Cruise. I don't like him as a person, et cetera, et cetera. But I think as an actor who is really dedicated to the craft of being fully in the moment, to get fully hit in the face
Yeah.
with a foam column is impressive.
It's a braverism I do not have. I don't like. That's pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool. He's a talent for getting hit in the face and
and
staying pretty.
and still, yeah, and still his face is okay.
Yeah. And act through it. It's great. It's great. Um, I'm I was a big Austin Powers fan, and I honestly, when I think about it, I still am. I hate the humor. It's so raunchy and it was over the top then, but the colorful aesthetic of like and the whimsy of it is what is the thorough line for me is whimsical and the Pink Panther, not the Pink Panther.
He was a detective. Maybe you're
Yeah.
thinking about the Pink Panther.
Naked Gun is what I'm actually thinking of.
Yes, that is a
Ah,
good parody for sure.
that
uh,
Naked Gun just came out, and then like watching the old Naked Guns and like going back and forth to understand the references. That's just
hmm,
fun.
I haven't seen the Liam Neeson one. Is
It's
it
cute.
is worth watching? I still like am shocked that like he actually like did that movie with Pam Anderson and then they dated afterwards. Like I'm like you, yeah, okay.
They're old school Hollywood, man. That's how they
Yeah.
dated.
And he
They're
just,
not gonna
yeah,
change.
he does seem low key compared to other actors. So, good for her or whatever. It's
It's easy to
just,
be low key at that hyper stage of celebrity.
mhm.
That's pretty cool.
I have seen the other, yeah, the older Naked Guns. There was a lot of them.
And that's more cop situations, but
Mhm.
this I would say this falls under the whole um romanticizing and
Yeah.
parodying the situation of authority figures and investigations
Uh-huh.
and stuff like that.
I mean, there haven't been very many girl spy stories at all. Like there was a TV show called La Femme Nikita for a while. Two
Yeah.
of them. It got rebooted. Um,
In the
and
90s,
then
there was She Something. I remember looking this up. I think it was called She or Her. It was this evening situation. Okay, let me look up.
it was this evening situation.
It was afternoon, evening showtime
Hmm.
sitcom spy with three hot chicks, a brunette, a
Oh
blonde,
yeah. Speaking of spies and parodies, how do we overlook Charlie's Angels when talking about this?
Charlie's Angels, She Spies. Is that what I'm talking about? Security hazard expert featured female spies investigating weaponized ordnance.
No, just called She Spies. That does sound like exactly what led to Debs, actually, because it's so ridiculous.
An American TV show. Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah. And it was cool. It was from
Re
2002 to 2004, though. So,
Right. So like exactly when Angela Robinson went to go make the short film. Yeah, that's interesting.
really?
Hmm.
Huh.
Hmm. That's convenience. Who would have
Hmm.
thought? Um, and afterwards, there's not much either. I think of Atomic Blonde with Charlize Theron. That's an excellent spy movie.
Really good. Much more action oriented.
Yes, once again, an action-oriented spy movie is more of my preferred genre.
Love that.
Um,
I like
that's
spoofy. Like She Spies, I watched a lot, and then it got boring. I was like, well, I don't know why I'm watching this anymore. Like, like it just got too corny.
Was it? Yeah, so it was like an afternoon specialty kind of show. That's interesting.
Evenings, like late evening on like TNT probably. Let's see. NBC.
Oh,
It's very different than TNT.
yeah,
Um,
that's prime time
they were looking to do a Lethal Weapon or Rush Hour with women. Not for women, with women.
with women. Rush Hour was big. I mean, if
Rush
we're
Hour
being
was pretty big.
honest, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Um,
snap. Wellspring just mentioned Carmen Sandiego. Speaking
Carmen
of the
Sandiego.
ultimate,
Yes.
but like what a caricature, right? Like she doesn't even have her own like personality. She just is the coat and the hat. I know there are
Mystique.
yes.
Mystique is the personality.
Yes.
And a taste for expensive stuff and wit and clues. Like she's
And world
super
travel.
intelligent, world traveler, very handy. Her house is
Mm-hmm.
probably cluttered, but in working order. There's nothing wrong with that house.
Why hasn't there been a live action Carmen Sandiego? Has there been
I think there have been, they did a reboot
attempts?
of the cartoon series, which was
Yeah, which was
good.
okay. Yeah.
And they added like a little bit more narrative about her, but I don't know. I think preserving the mystique is more important
I mean, because it was like
on a
a game
product.
show, right?
It was a game show originally.
Yeah, it was a game show, and then there were some video games, and then there was a cartoon that was more of a story.
Yeah,
Um, and then yeah, that's so
because the main
crazy.
characters are spies, are the
Hmm.
kid spies trying to solve the problem.
And a comic. Yep, good point. Yep, also comic books.
Um, VIP with Pamela Anderson. Yeah, VIP.
I
I
don't
watched
know.
that. That was silly.
I definitely have never seen that.
We
I
talked about
did.
Spy Kids. We talked about because that was another narrative about blended families or at
Hmm.
least just being Latino and like, hey, we're a family that exists here. Don't discount us. Don't stop thinking
Oh,
about us.
right, because yeah, there's another layer of difficulty to their identity, which is what we get with Debs for sure. There's another layer of difficulty to the spy identity.
I think to the young woman identity
Yeah.
on the precipice of going to college or getting their career, like it was
Hmm.
that pressure of having it all. I have to be the most popular, most studious, most athletic, most American
Hmm.
woman because I'm gonna have my career. And I'm 18. I'm 17. I'm running out of time.
Yeah.
I think that's definitely unique about that era was there's so much pressure on people to have it all, and it had just started shifting, or it had been shifting towards women to be it all and have it all.
Hmm.
Which I don't know if we see that today. I might be just not 18 anymore, and the pressure just looks differently.
Yeah, I don't know. I, I think there's a lot of stories in this generation for Generation Gen Z where it's just like life sucks and you're not going to have it all and hopefully you don't. I was watching Euphoria because I've been doing that lately. That's why everything is Euphoria in my mind. And I one of Rue's friends says like, "Oh, it sucks, being sober because then you can't do all of the normal teenage shit." And Rue says, "Well, when I'm an adult, I'm not going to be doing all of that normal adult shit either." And I'm just like, "Yeah, yeah, it sucks." Like
Yeah, perspective sucks,
I
but
feel like
yeah,
Gen Z is so much more aware of how much the world sucks, and that
yeah.
leads to other decisions on their parts.
That is unique about this,
Like I feel
about our
like
reading our
the
stories.
idea that there are Gen Z people that like are still like living at home with their parents and like have never moved out and they're like, in their mid 20s is so fascinating to me because that was never an option. Like that was never an option. It was never like, yeah, you can go to college and come back home and live here until you get it was like, no, you graduate high school and you're gone. And you can spend 4 of those years at college and we'll support you through that if you're in college, but you're gone after that.
As a team that looks at media, I can speak up and say that's so true based on late night television. Anytime that there was an older person living at a parent's house, they were the joke. I'm
Hmm.
thinking of Cody in Step by Step. He lived over the garage and not in the house. Like he was,
Yeah, they didn't even get to live in the house. They had to find
yeah,
some made up part of the house
that
and
part.
put them there. Yep.
Yeah, when Will Smith moved back in as the Prince of Bel-Air, he was in the additional pool house that just
Hmm.
was there all along. I know it wasn't. They had so many like backyard events in that backyard, and then suddenly there was a full house. They were wealthy. Um, and even in our later millennial situations, we had that 70s show, and we still talked about them as being the parents and everyone referenced it as being embarrassing, and they moved into other people's houses, the house of their friends. Like it was still
Hmm.
direct, not a directly core, like a direct family situation. It was still campy.
Yeah, because like Eric is literally gone and Hyde is living in the foreman's basement or
Yeah.
something, right? Yeah, that's
And I
weird.
can't remember how long the kids lived at the Married with Children house in that household, but I think it was really long. And I
Well,
think Ted
and
Bundy lived there for a long time, and that they were supposed to be not the greatest
also,
family.
yeah, Kelly was, yeah. I think she was pretty much an adult, but it was also very much established that Kelly was stupid
Figuring it out. Yeah.
and perhaps incompetent to live on her own, right? So
And
that's,
and they were the anti-Cosbys. So like
hmm.
I wonder how long the kids lived at Roseanne's.
They moved out, moved into apartments, and then did they have an apartment in a garage or did they move back in? I don't
An
remember.
apartment over the garage, yeah.
I also remember like yeah, once again, not even your kid, Darlene's boyfriend was living
Yes.
with them for a while. Yeah.
And those are the circumstances where you have to because they're a young married couple and they have kids. Like I
Hmm.
remember CW having the Reba show and the kid, I think they lived temporarily and had to move out like within the, but
Hmm.
I'm making that up because I really don't remember.
I don't know.
But yeah, there's situations like that, but I think we're talking specifically about modern kiddos who are single living at parents' houses.
Hmm.
Dating other people is,
And the it's not like in 90s it was like the narrative was like you tried to move out and failed and came back home in shame, right? And
yes.
now it's okay. They're fully allowed to just stay at their parents' home. I mean, and I'm sure there's some shame. I don't know these people. Maybe there's some shame involved. I don't know. Um, but yeah, like it's definitely more acceptable, I think, to just need to be with your parents for longer.
I hope it is. That's my hope.
Yeah, the economy sucks, right? Or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. And helping the parents pay off the house or whatever sounds like a good
Yeah.
idea. I know that it's hard to do all the things that are promised to young adults, but that's, separating the advertising world from the world of lives.
Hmm.
And it's always the hope that stories stay somewhere in the middle. Gosh, I remember our first time seeing 30 Rock heavily presenting like commercials in the middle of the show, Subway or some shit like that.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, change of times.
Yeah.
I brought that up because like, I want there to be a separation of ad space, which is hyper real, and then stories, which are not real, but I want them to like be.
To feel more real. That's such a good point, right? Yeah.
And so when the commercial integrates, it's like, oh no, I'm
Dude,
in
I can't even
danger.
tell anymore. Especially if I'm watching something that I don't know, the ads are just like super subtle. Except for, oh, this is not related to anything. I love this. This might just be like a bonus bit that we're talking about now. I saw this ad. Was it for I think it was for fucking pistachios. And there was a dude getting eaten, actively eaten by a crocodile. And he says something like, it's the only way that I can keep from snacking as he's like getting swallowed by this crocodile.
Ah,
And I literally was like, I'm old. I am actually old. This is it. I don't understand this humor. I don't know who this is for. It is not me. I
Yeah.
don't understand this humor. And so then his buddy's like, here, try a pistachio. And I'm just like, what is happening? Um,
That's a mental, like, I have to really think about that. Pistachios naturally will keep you from snacking because one, they are a snack. Two, they are fibrous and healthy for you. But three, opening them up is just an extra process. And that's where the
mhm.
alligator mouth comes in. Because like, yeah, it's
Yes,
the
yes.
reverse. And it's such a
Hmm.
like, that's good writing.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It was so
Really
absurd that
fun.
I was like, I'm too old. I don't connect to these people anymore. I feel that way about some SNL skits too. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm officially out of,
They're all babies.
yeah.
They're all
The
babies. None of
second
them are
Bowen
older than
left,
me.
I was like, this cast is all children. Not that Bowen isn't also younger than me because he is, but
But like, yeah.
mhm.
Who is on SNL right now? Who is the SNL cast? Because I don't know all their names, but I
I don't
know.
know. I don't know.
By the way, talking about tropes, just to take a quick little step back into what we're talking about. Um, I've been reading up on old sitcoms and stuff like that because our conversations have really got me like, where does all this stuff come from?
Hmm.
Where's the history and the layered um storytelling? It reminds me of because we're talking about Spy Kids and the other identity and being a family,
Hmm.
and the D.E.B.S, which is like being a young, being a child on the cusp of the having it all race,
Hmm.
um, from SAT scores to whatever that perfect marriage and perfect job was going to be as an FBI heterosexual. Um,
FBI heterosexual.
uh, um, Darren and Samantha Stevens have been on my mind a lot. They are the couple in Bewitched. And there I didn't know this, but that was one of the first times that they could talk about mixed marriages so openly because it was, oh, it's just witchcraft. Don't worry, everybody's white. And
Brilliant. Yeah, I didn't know
yeah,
that. That's a cool because they
well,
could also do it in space if it were 150 to or 250 years in the future, right? Because it was so
yeah,
far in the future, it wouldn't matter.
it doesn't
But
matter. It's not right
yeah,
now. Yeah.
because I
Um,
know, like, yeah, Star Trek is the first interracial kiss, but they're also
yeah.
fighting aliens while they were kissing.
And for Samantha and Darren, it was very much a stay in the closet situation, which is
Mhm.
like, or
Passing. She's
yeah,
passing. The whole narrative is about
the whole
passing.
narrative is passing. But it was one of the beginnings of staying in the broom closet discussion that comes out much later in our
Yeah.
millennial times.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Setting up Charmed and setting up the Sabrinas for their um, the domestic versus how you present in the real world.
Mhm.
Which again, presentation, closet and code switching and all that stuff. Well, it's just really fun that stories have been doing this a long time.
Yeah. So, yeah, main point here, nothing exists in a vacuum. Debs is a product of the culture of the times and a parody of not just the spy genre, but of coming of age movies, of all of it. And it's a fun movie. Watch it. It's free on Tubi. That's why you should watch it. It's free on Tubi.
So yeah,
I don't necessarily
if you like
recommend.
smart girls who are also hot, having
Okay.
jokes and doing stuff,
Yeah.
being gay.
I mean, Jordan Brewster, the swagger there is. That's why, like, seriously, like watching it, I was like, no, this is Renee Rapp. This is like the blueprint. Oops, I'm saying the word blueprint. I say that word too much, but it is a blueprint for some level of is this person evil? Um,
Mhm.
but also because Rachel McAdams is not the blueprint for Renee Rapp's Regina George. I mean, of course she is, but there's way more sexual swagger to Renee Rapp's. And I watching Jordan Brewster be Lucy Diamond brought that energy to my mind. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And if you also like to see just generically pretty boys completely flop, and not be very important or be totally dorky and like surprisingly necessary. It's good. Like if you want boys in the background, that's funny. It's a
Boys in the
funny little
background
thing.
for sure. Yeah, the
Jimmy
movie.
Simpson played Scud, and he's like one of the Milk brothers. That's all I really remember him, the milk, one of the Milk guys in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So
Mm-hmm.
always like a gross character. He's a gross character
Mm-hmm.
in this too, but he's like, actually, he's the good one. You know, they did a lot to
Yeah, he's
attach to
like the
something.
ultimate bro, like bestie. Like he's like advocating for Lucy's happiness the entire time, which is funny because like, aren't you also going to lose a lot of money if she stops being evil? But you know what? It's a cute story. So,
Yeah, don't look too deeply. It's something to have in the background while you're
mhm.
like, I don't know, whatever it is that you can pay attention to a movie for. It's
Yeah,
washing dishes for me or taking care of my pets.
fair.
Getting in that deeps clean.
All right, fans. Well, thanks for joining us today. Um, as always, check us out on Substack or hit us up on the socials, Gay2K podcast. Just Google it. We're out there. If you Google just Gay2K, a weird site about cats comes up because we don't have that URL. But we're still there. If you Google just gay, if you Google Gay2K the podcast, you get us instantly. So
And you can find our articles. You just released an article today. You can find our articles on Substack. So
yeah.
follow us there.